What's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 96 of the Offshore Gamescast. I'm Dave. I'm Dylan.
And not Lile, apparently. Now I'm heartbroken.
Yeah, that's pretty insulting. He doesn't even want to be you.
Yeah, Lile's her own entity.
Oh, okay. Fine.
Dylan, Dylan, I don't know if we talked about this, but you were just a subsidiary to me.
I don't like anything that implies at all.
It's just the way it is. You signed the graham cracker.
And then I ate it. Today we're talking about Ravenlok. And then, Dave, next week you are talking about Redfall.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in that one.
I'm playing it.
I'm afraid of it. Yes?
May 30th, After Us.
Yay! I'm very much looking forward to that one.
Me too, because I know nothing about that, and those are always the best surprises.
Yay!
And then June 6th, we will be talking about Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom? Tears. I still never... I don't know officially.
Tears.
I think it's Tears too.
I'm still going with Tears.
It would...
From what I know...
We're not doing it again.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to do it again.
Lile, what is Ludonarracon?
Oh yeah, I did a video on Ludonarracon 2023, and Ludonarracon is a little con held on Steam that's all about narrative-driven indie games. And I played 28 demos in the span of like 4 days. My brain was absolutely fried. And I chose the 5 that I like the best, and I made a video out of it. So if you want to see that, Lile's Indie Corner.
And also, if you are listening to this or watching on YouTube with some gameplay and our faces, or whatever podcast platform, please rate, review, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. It helps us a whole lot, and we appreciate it.
Make sure no one's watching through your window and listening to the episode through your walls. That's just double check real quick. We'll wait.
Yeah, make them listen to it on their own.
Well, I don't know. Maybe invite them in. You could make a new friend through the Offshore Gamescast.
Make sure
that would also be nice.
Batten down the hatches. Get yourself a little PBJ. Calm down. It's gonna be okay. The police are on their way.
I feel like Dave has just announced the zombie apocalypse or something.
Just invite the police in too when they arrive. You can all just sit down and watch the Offshore Gamescast.
Yeah.
Zombie police. Oh no.
All right, Ravenlok.
Tell us all about it.
It's from Cococucumber. Previously did Echo Generation. Was that last? No, it was 2 years ago, right?
They did Echo Generation and Riverbound. This is the ending, or so they say, of their Voxel trilogy.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't know about the River game.
I think it came out as like one of those like games with gold for 1 month, and I never knew it was them. So I think it's cool. I still want to go back and play it. It's like a not isometrics, but like kind of top down, cute little co-op 4-player adventure thing.
Is that all set in the same universe, or is it just we made 3 voxel games?
I think it's just the voxel.
Okay.
Voxelicity.
But I like the name Cococucumber.
Yes. Also self-published by them. It came out on May 4th, 2023 on Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. It is on Game Pass. So, here's the concept. You take that, like an old school adventure game, as Echo Generation was, where it's, you find an item, and that item can be given to one person, which then gives you an item for something else you needed elsewhere, which then leads to an item that brings you somewhere else. It's one of those.
An old school Zelda is what you
kind
say.
of, yes. It's that Cartoon Network. What's the name of that game, Dave?
Summer Vacation or
yes.
Whatever. Good game.
It is set in a fantasy world that is at no point do they ever say it in any of their descriptions or anything, but it's very clearly inspired by Alice in Wonderland. Like it's that. It's Alice in Wonderland. That's what
What
this
is it?
game is.
Is it rather dark, or is it the Disney version of Alice in Wonderland?
It's
like the DreamWorks version.
Okay.
It definitely has some dark tones to it, or like darker things, but it's not like it's a very lighthearted game.
It's
if
not
that
like
makes sense.
Echo Generation had a lot of like very creepy sections. This is a lot lighter compared to that.
It is. Yeah, it's a decent amount lighter, but there are still some things that are like, if you really think about it, it's like, oh, that's kind of messed up there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah. So you are Ravenlok. That's what they call you in this world, and I didn't know what to name my character. So you name your character whatever you want. But I did the thing where I just looked up because I figured, oh, there's a canon name. There always is. And so I just named her Ravenlok.
Boo.
But that was like, I didn't realize that was supposed to be her
title.
Like her name in the fantasy world when she gets there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So it was like, at one point someone was like, oh, and you're Ravenlok. Like, and that was supposed to be referring to her as her real world name. And she was like, how did you know that? But they've been calling her Ravenlok like multiple times before that.
The Ravenlok will show up and fulfill the prophecy. My name's Ravenlok. What?
Yeah. That was my bad.
See, I was much more simple. I didn't expect that you'd be able to pick a name. So I started panicking and I started looking around the screen and I'm like, what is there? Glasses, Etch-a-Sketch, and I called myself Sketch.
I kind of like that.
That's cute.
Yeah.
So you are moving into like an old family home with your parents, and you're bored and you don't like it because you moved from the city like out to the countryside. So,
there's no food in the fridge.
All those weird.
They need to go food shopping.
All those weird city children that don't know what to do in rural places.
Yes.
Cannot relate. Cannot relate.
There's no bees for you to chase. Not like the normal city pastime.
No brown cows to milk for cocoa.
For 20 points.
Your dad is like, go check out the barn. So you do, and there's a bunch of stuff upstairs in that barn, including a mirror. And you touch that mirror, and there you are. You're in fantasy Alice in Wonderland world. She's like, there's no questioning it. She's just like, her line was just, am I dreaming? And then you meet the bunny dude who's like, you're the prophecy, save the world. She's like, I'm gonna save the world.
His name is
Sounds right. This is what I have always been dreaming about.
Pretty much. It's very, I mean, Echo Generation was very much like that too. Like, there's a bunch of crazy supernatural murder things, and they're just like, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Kids.
Yeah, kids. So yeah, it's Alice in Wonderland. You're there. You're the prophesized hero to stop the evil queen, and everyone is all afraid of the evil, power-hungry queen because she's abusive, and no one's happy. So, a lot of bunny people too.
Bunny people.
Yes. There's like a whole mansion of bunny people.
Do they walk on their hind legs or on all fours?
Their hind legs.
Well, one of them is in a constant.
Clothing?
Yes.
Yeah, one of them is in a constant state of playing a piano, whether or not there's a piano in front of them. So,
is that
as
a thing?
A bug or as a feature?
Well, he does his thing. He's at the piano and he's got like four arms and he's doing this. But even when he's not at a piano, he's still just like going to town.
Is he?
Yeah, you can't. He's like brainwashed. He's stuck.
Interesting.
Sad.
The pianist.
Very sad.
That's right. That's like kind of it for the story. It is not narrative driven at all. And when it comes to like some of the writing, Echo Generation definitely had a snarkiness to it.
Yeah.
Like kind of like some one-liners in there, or just a lot of sarcasm from the kids. This didn't really have that either, or if it did, it was like once or twice.
It's all like childlike wonder. It's like, wow.
Yeah. And the game is short. It's about 4 hours. So at no point, I was not really invested in any of the characters or the story at all. So combat, which is really, this game is driven by combat more than anything. It is a third-person action game that Dave, you had mentioned it to me before because you also played this, but you spam that attack button and you attack so fast.
So ridiculously fast. It is not. I was saying it because, like I said, I still have to work on putting out my Ravenlok shit. But at one point in my gameplay, there are these small little like mushroom creatures, and at a point, I started to feel really bad because they're just screaming, and I am attacking at the speed of sound, and there's so nothing they can do. And I started running past them at a point because I was like, I can't just do this genocide right now. Like I feel too bad.
So what you're saying, this is like the old God of War. It's just like killing things left and right.
Yes, but like
kinda
more, quicker.
Even quicker than that.
It is literally, so like you take your controller, every single one of those taps is a sword slash.
It's pretty much as fast as you can click the button. It's as fast as you're swinging, and it's nuts.
Poor creatures.
Yeah, no, you really kick their ass.
Yeah.
You're using a sword and a shield. You don't get any other weapons throughout the game. You can use your shield to block. I found that not nearly as good as dodging. So I rarely used it. Typically if you block something, especially because I was really only using it against bosses because you're not really stunning them like you are normal enemies, you have a stamina meter, and it only is ever affected when you're blocking, and it's usually you block a big hit from a boss and it drains almost all the way down and you get stunned along with them for a second. So I found that just dodging out of the way and attacking was way better than the shield. You do get 4 special abilities. So there's bullet spray, which is you're basically just shooting out a bunch. It's an interesting name. You're basically just shooting out a bunch of little magic balls, and they're homing, so they'll just lock onto whatever. Which there's a couple of bosses that are kind of floating out in the distance, so it's useful against them to kind of do some constant damage. And these all have cooldown times. That's how you reuse them. Some are faster than others. Spear dash, which is just a quick dash move that goes to enemies. You kind of hit them multiple times as you dash through them. Fury blade, just an even quicker flurry of attacks. And then fireball tremors, which you kind of like slam the ground and shoot some fireballs like up from the ground in front of you, and will do some like damage over time for a couple seconds to whoever is in that range. By far, bullet spray and fireball tremors were the best. Those did the most damage. You could have some distance. Spear dash and fury blade did almost no damage. They were almost useless to me, other than when you're doing them, you're not getting damaged by other attacks, so you can use it in that way. But otherwise, the magic ones were way better.
I only ever used them because the other ones were on cooldown, and I just wanted to do more damage in the moment, and then just get them out of the way.
Can I ask, is this like a 3D over your shoulder?
No, it is 3D, but it's more top down.
Okay.
It's like isometric.
It's weird because the camera the perspective is like 2.5D and 3D because you can go forward and back, side to side, but the camera kind of like is limited. You can only like turn so much. Like you're not gonna be able to turn all the way around. If you have an arena and you go to the front of it, then the boss will be coming. You have to run all the way back down to the bottom to be able to see him, and then you can fight him again. And then he'll come down, and you gotta like run back and like bring him back up so he's in view of the camera as you're running back.
Ha! That doesn't sound
Yeah.
very convenient.
No, it's not. I mean, there's really, I think of one boss that's kind of the bull boss that was annoying with that because they would like kind of charge at you, and then hit
it's
that
like
wall behind you, and then you have to like move back around to get them back in camera view.
Yeah, because it's just like anything could be happening.
Anything. It is true.
Maybe they couldn't make a free camera work. That might be an issue.
I mean, it's what they did for Echo Generation. This had a little bit more freedom to it.
Yeah.
But...
yeah, you're pretty much just able to kind of tilt the camera a little bit, but not really do much past that with it.
Yeah.
There's bombs there's different types of like an ice bomb, a fire bomb, a magic bomb. Dave, I didn't find them useful at all.
So when I came up against the first boss, I had yet to level up yet. So I was like, oh shit, this is kind of hard. And then I leveled up and I was like, oh shit, this is easy as shit. And so when it came to some of those bombs, I would collect the ice and the fire ones, and I would use them occasionally. And I only ever used one magic bomb because I bought it and I wanted to see what would happen. But besides that, they were just kind of there if I needed them in a pinch, but never really used.
They didn't do enough damage, you know?
No, like they were good in the moment, just as like a boom, quick bit of damage. But like, the cool thing that's nice too is it gives you a quick break, because when you are selecting the bomb, everything pauses, like everything is frozen, because it's not like let's take out a bomb and throw it. It's make sure I'm close enough, then I'll hit the D-pad, select which bomb I want. It'll automatically lock on. I just have to use it as long as I'm close enough to the enemy, and it'll just hit them.
That's true. It does give you a little breather when it gets hectic.
So that's nice, but if you even need that, when you get to the point where you level up so much, you're destroying them.
Yeah, that happens pretty quickly. I never found the game to be hard at all. I played it on normal, and at no point was I ever really at risk of dying or any like. There's never any tension of like, oh god, this is getting close, because it's just I always had plenty of potions on hand, and I don't know, nothing was too difficult, but enemies had too much health. It was too much of, so like the base enemies, you just, when you're attacking them, pretty much all of them, maybe a couple later in the game, won't get stunned as easily, but pretty much all of them, you spam that attack button on them, and they're just getting stunned, so it's just, you're pushing them back against the wall as you keep hitting them, and then you have them pinned against the wall, and you're just slashing the crap out of them until their health bar is gone. And then do that with like 10 enemies at once.
It's better for the bigger enemies, but those little mushroom guys, you start to feel really bad.
It sounds a bit bad.
They were just, their sponginess, their too much health didn't like add any sort of challenge. It was just kind of like, just gonna spam the button some more.
Yeah, I hate that when games do it. I hate it when it's not related to like skill or anything. It's just push that button.
Yes, push it a whole lot.
Yeah,
I mean that's what it was. I went up against the first boss, and I was like, I got him down about halfway, but then I died, and I was like, oh okay. And then I went over and I found the dude who you spend whatever. The feathers are the souls in this game to level you up, and I leveled up from 1 to 5, and I went back in again, and I was like, oh god, nothing.
Yeah, it makes a big difference.
Cake.
I was pretty much just all the time, because they give you, we'll get to it, but there's mirrors. That's what you use to fast travel. Yeah. So I was pretty much always going back to that witch's house to level up, and it definitely makes a big difference. I found the combat overall was, in the beginning, especially when you're just kind of slashing the crap out of everything, It's like, this is kind of ridiculous, but it's funny and cool. And then it by the end, which is only 4 hours, and I don't know, I'm kind of glad it was only 4 hours, or else the combat would have really been like, all right, this is extremely repetitive. But at the same time, I wish it was longer, but had more to it.
More variety.
Yes.
It's kind of funny because the way, if you look at both this and Echo Generation, I feel like we both felt, granted they're two different combat styles, but some of the turn-based fighting in Echo Generation towards the later end of the game was definitely a lot more challenging. Like, there was a difficulty spike, and in this game, it's the complete opposite. There was a difficulty drop-off from the start, from hitting start.
Yeah, it was quite easy. So let's talk about the exploration side of things, outside of combat, the adventure game. It is lacking compared to Echo Generation, in my opinion. There was way less of the, like, oh, I'm going to talk to this person. So, like, in Echo Generation, be like, I need the rope or whatever to get into the treehouse. You find that out, like, right away. You won't get the rope for maybe, like, an hour or two later. They're like, oh, now I could go do this. Times that by, like, 20. There's a million things to do. This game, it's more, oh, you go into an area. Here's all these, like, deer you can talk to solve their problems, but it's all done locally, like in that area. It's not like, oh, I need this item, I have to go explore a bunch, eventually I'll find it and be able to come back here and do this cool thing. It was like, nope, it's all right here. So it less of that, and some people might prefer that. I liked that, how they had it go in an Echo Generation. It's
all very straightforward and super linear, like so much so.
It is very linear. I also don't like how they had you had to do things in a specific order for, like, the main story stuff. So, like, if you interacted with something when you first came across it, if you were not up to that story point, you would just be like, oh, okay. And then you'd have to wait for that story point to happen, then go back to it, interact with it again, and then you can kind of do it. So there are a few times. So there's at one point you need to get pieces of a mask to make a mask. And I found all the pieces before I got to the story point. And I would interact with them, and she'd just be like, oh, a piece of a mask. I don't need this right now.
Yeah, that kind of pissed me off. Because it's obvious
then once
you're going to build it.
Yeah. Once you realize you need that mask, then it's like, all right, I got to go back now and get all these pieces that I just interacted with. The same thing happened to me with those shock roses, like the flowers, where you go to pick it up, it's like, it electrocuted me. I was like, okay. And then I didn't realize you had to then interact with the thing at the top of the hill, and then you could pick those roses up, because so like I interacted with the thing on the top of the hill. It's like, I gotta wake this thing up somehow. And then I'm like, okay, I guess I know what type of game this is. I'm not gonna get that item until way later. That was supposed to be the first, like, big of the three things that you need to get to the end of the game. I ended up doing that one second because I didn't realize I could then interact with those flowers that you needed.
I hate when stuff like that happens, because if I interact with something and I can't do anything with it, then I'm like, okay, I can't do anything with it. So I'm looking for the next thing somewhere else. I don't like that.
That's why, like, when I interacted with those flowers, it was like, it shocks me. I was sitting here thinking, I'm gonna get something that lets me pick up electric things later on. So I'll come back to this.
It's frustrating because it kind of makes exploration less rewarding or exciting, because it's like you go through the end. It's like in most games you'll come up and be like, can you get me the beans of magic? And you're like, you mean these beans of magic? Like, it's like it feels pretty good to already have done something and be like, well, I think we're all good here.
Yep.
You know what? This is kind of why I don't like Metroidvanias, because that's the whole game concept of Metroidvania.
Pretty much, yeah.
Do you have the shoes of walking? These shoes are walking.
The same thing happened with the code, which I think was the most obnoxious. You need to do a code thing with like, there's 4 things you need to do in a specific order, and you find a code on a pillar. It's like love before strength, courage after strength. It's like, okay, you kind of piece those little phrases together to figure out the order. I found that code first. Then I found the buttons I was supposed to hit, but I couldn't hit the buttons unless I went around the whole area and found what each symbol actually represented, even though it was pretty clear that like the heart-shaped thing is representing love. The thing with someone flexing their muscles clearly is strength.
Is also love.
So I went around and found those. I was like, all right, now I can go do this, because I had already figured out what the order was based on the code, and then I still couldn't. And it was like, you got to find the code for this. So I had to then go back and interact with the pillar that had the code on it, and then I could go input it.
Wow, that's super frustrating.
So it was like, and it was all like close, which it wasn't like a big deal to go do, but it was still just like, come on, I know what I'm supposed to do here. Let me do it.
So I was doing my little Let's Play of Ravenlok, and I went back so I could see just how long it took. But there's a little cauldron named Cammy.
Mm-hmm.
Cammy wants cinder.
Yep.
I found 3 of the 4 cinder.
Yep.
And looking back at the gameplay, took me about 25 minutes to find the 4th cinder, because it was hiding where the camera couldn't see it.
It was also, for whatever reason, they had, so there's Cammy, who needs their 4 cinders. There's 3 cinders in that same like map area, and then for whatever reason the 4th one is just in the next map area, which I did like a couple laps around the area of like, where is it?
I found the one in the next map area. It's that little like path hidden right behind like the map zone exit. There's like this little path that leads down here, and I walked by it so many times, and I kept going back up to Cammy, and I'm like, is 3 cinder good enough? Like, can we make this work? Like,
try to negotiate with the quest.
I'm trying here. I can't find this fucking cinder, man. I finally did it, and I went back, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to fast forward or cut out this whole 25-minute section.
So you can make it like a speed.
Yeah.
And then like
walking by it,
and then it slows down after about a minute, and it's like, where's this fucking shit?
So the witch's house is kind of like it's not a hub area necessarily, but you go back there for a few things. So one of them is Cammy. Once you get their cinders, you can buy potions from them, which you will need. There is a little mouse dude where you trade in your feathers to level up, and you get feathers by defeating enemies. And then there is a big bunny figurine, a really large one, who's like, have you found any figurines? This is how you get them. So there's 18 total of these little hidden rabbit figurines throughout the whole game, and it's one of my favorite things. So you go out, you find them. You can't just pick it up though. You have to hold up on the D-pad to make your character like kind of groove out in front of them like this. And then they just kind of, the rabbits start to shake, and then poof, you have it. So you have to dance in front of the little rabbits to collect.
Is there an explanation for that?
No, the giant rabbit figure is just like, here's how you do it. You have to dance.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
You go back, and he's like, did you bring me more? Let me know when you find more. The dancing is my favorite thing. I dance so much.
There's, yeah. And you get, it's like, if you trade in 5 figurines, you get a bunch of potions and bombs and stuff. And that's kind of like what each level is, but with better tiered potions.
I love thinking
Um,
about stuff like this seriously. Like, just imagine a 10-year-old girl walking around a forest, and then all of a sudden she's just finding these random dolls, and there's this giant doll in the middle of the forest, and it was like, "How many you got? How many you got there?" And she's like, she's shaking, and she's like, I got 5." And he's like, "You got 5? Come here, come here." And she creeps up. It's the middle of the night. He's like, "Take this C4 and have fun. Bring me some more little dolls." And she's just walking away with bombs and just
yeah.
You made
Meanwhile-
that super creepy.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in the game, it just gives her bombs. She's like, "Okay, thanks."
Yep.
So the shop with all the potions, you need coins to buy that, which you get by breaking jars, which are breakable everywhere. And every time so the way it works is like you're in a little area, and then you kind of like go down a path, and it brings you to the next little map area. Anytime you like re-go into an area, the enemies respawn that were there, but so do all the jars. So you're never really having a problem with money, because you get money from the jars, and the enemies, along with giving you feathers for leveling up, also drop money. So I was at no point did I want to buy a potion or potions or anything else and be like, I don't have the money for this. Money was not a problem. It's a great economy.
I mean, I would love if that was true. If I could just go back and forth, destroy some jars, and have endless money.
You had the deer section, and one of them was like, "Can you kill all these bugs?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, I could kill all those bugs." So I killed all the bugs, and it was like, "You got to kill some more bugs." And I'm looking around, and I'm like, "There's no more bugs here." So I left the area, and I came back, and not only were there more bugs, it was everybody. And I was like, "Oh, well, I only got to kill 2 of you, so come here."
Yep. And then you find these mirrors kind of everywhere, and like I said, that's fast travel. So any mirror you interact with, you could just jump between them. And so the witch's house was by far the one you're going back to the most. That's kind of the crux of most of the game. The visuals and music. So it still has that voxel style, but it was definitely less blocky than Echo Generation was.
There was more of a mix.
Yes, there were like
things were general smooth. Environmental stuff was a lot more smooth and natural, less voxely.
Yep. I think this is a nice looking game, but I think kind of stepping more in that direction made the art style stand out a little less to me than Echo Generation did. But I also recognize that as complete personal preference at that point. And I thought the music was fine. No music was really memorable, but it never felt out of place.
Maybe they're just trying to do like a fun little gaming timeline where you have like Riverbound, Echo Generation, and now Ravenlok, sort of like a growing of like not only amount of voxels and processing power, but just level of gameplay as you're going on. So it's an evolutionary series, is what we're looking at.
Yeah.
They probably approached it that way, I would imagine, if they say they made a voxel trilogy.
And then they're going to come out with their next game, and it's going to look like The Last of Us 2.
Imagine.
Definitely.
That'd be sick.
I played on PC, and I had no issues at all with bugs, glitches, performance, no frames dropping or anything, which is, I feel, is notable in this day and age.
I was about to say, isn't it so sad that that's something positive?
Yep. But it's true. It is a positive. It was just I played it at one sitting, beginning to end, with no issues, which that part is nice. It was refreshing.
It's a good game. It's a good old time.
Yeah, I used the word fine. It was a short game, and everything about it just kind of felt fine to me. Nothing stood out as maybe the dancing. Dancing might be the best part.
Dancing
That's
is
why it's
pretty
not a
great.
5.
Yeah. So I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. It was fine.
I don't think
Do
it was
you think-
amazing, but
Do you think this was maybe you were not the target audience for this? That this was more made for kids? It sounds like it. That's why I'm asking.
it's hard to say because based off Echo Generation, that feels like it was definitely focused towards our like
Yeah.
late 20s, early 30s, just like that who grew up in like the 90s and 2000s with that adventure game style. And this feels like it's trying to harken more towards that more modern day Souls-like, but it's just very gameplay wise so easy.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking if that's maybe they changed their target audience or something.
Maybe
I don't know.
if they did, it wasn't clear enough.
Communicated that way.
Yeah.
Maybe there is a bug, and the one bug is you swing that sword too fucking fast.
That wasn't intended that way.
No.
Maybe.
That damn press build.
When they're playing it, they're like playing it way more strategically, so just like swipe,
No, it's like
swipe, dodge,
yeah,
swipe, and we're just
averagely- with our QA testers, Ravenlok should be about a 12-hour game to finish on average.
They're just playing it slow.
Yeah.
We do have a couple of news and fun facts points about the game. So, in the first week, it has 250,000 players, which for a game of this size is pretty darn good for their first week.
Mm-hmm.
So, good for them.
Game Pass.
And yes, so that following that, they said that Game Pass is 100% worth it for them. So apparently, I didn't know about the what is it, Ravenlok? Is that what it is?
Riverbound.
That was on Game Pass at some point. Then
Mm.
Echo Generation and Ravenlok both released into Game Pass, and they said it helps with kind of the biggest struggle of indies, which is visibility. Just people seeing the game when it's on Game Pass and it's new. They do kind of put that right in the front there.
Mm-hmm.
And just a lower barrier of entry. So anyone, if you're subscribed to Game Pass, can just download it. There's no, I have to spend $20 to try it.
Yeah.
I know that the Obsidian people said that Pentiment would have never been possible without Game Pass. Because as a studio as big as they are, they could have never pitched a game like that to be released.
That makes sense. I really want to play
Yeah.
Pentiment. Everyone loves it.
I also really want to
It's
play
very-
Pentiment.
It's very good. You should.
All right. Notable game releases.
Thank you for your review, Dylan. Don't just jump from point to
Oh.
point. Let us say thank you.
Thank you
Thanks.
for listening to my review.
Of course.
I mean, some of us don't have a choice.
You are both just grumpy today. It's a theme. It's
I was happy
theme.
today. Ravenlok would have gotten a 7, but you know what?
Yeah.
I am over here like, yay! And you're just sitting there. "Whirr."
Interesting how Lile's the only one who has not played Ravenlok and is the happiest out of all of us.
Hmm.
Makes you wonder. What's really
I have-
going on with Ravenlok?
I have played 2 games I was not happy with, so the last couple of weeks. So you know,
That's all it took. It was a bounce back of not playing a game that you were unhappy with.
Hmm.
probably. Honestly, the Jedi Survivor really bummed me out because I really wanted to like that game, and
Yeah.
I just
Yep.
I mean, once I'm done with Redfall, I'm gonna be taking my sweet time with Jedi Spidinger.
do it.
I will.
Maybe it's playable on PC now. I mean, I've heard that the console versions are much better. So
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be fun on Xbox so far.
Yep.
Rip PC.
Rip PC.
All right, notable game releases. What's coming out, guys?
10 Hearts, May 16th for PC, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series S and X, and Xbox One. This got released on the Switch last month and now is getting the full console PC release. I'm looking forward to that. I want to watch some Tin Men walk around my tables.
I don't know what it is.
It's like, do you know Lemmings?
Like the
Like
animal,
a very old game series.
or the
I do
animal.
not.
You have like little tin men that walk on their own, and then you
Okay.
have to change the environment around them to make them go to in a certain direction over an obstacle and all of that stuff.
Okay,
And then you have to get them to the end without them dying.
I understand.
Yes.
Oh,
Dave's not happy
It
about
looks cute. It looks very cute. Stop looking that way.
what also looks cute is the Outlast Trials.
That's the cutest game around.
Coming out May 18th to PC in early access. Outlast.
Firmament. I don't know what this is, but it's coming May 18th on PS4 and PS5, PC, and Mac.
That's that game.
It's from the people
okay.
who do the Myst series, like a first-person puzzle game.
The heavens or the sky, especially when regarded as a tangible thing.
Myst, like the super old Myst game.
Yes, them too, but they also made like new ones.
I like first-person puzzle games.
Yeah, it's one.
I didn't even know they made new Myst games.
Yeah, they keep coming out with Myst, like the first one. They keep re-misting it.
Myst the remistered.
Mistered. And excited! Lego 2K Drive is coming out May 19th, 2023. May 19th, 2023.
When is that?
May 19th, 2023. That is
okay.
May 19th, 2023. On PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X, May 19th, Xbox One, and Switch.
I have never heard of that console. What is that one like?
I think KFC came out with it.
That makes sense.
It comes out in 5 days.
Like that. What's that guy called? Governor? No, what's he called? Colonel? Colonel something?
Governor Sandwich.
Yep. Governor Sandwich. That's it.
Governor Sandwich, he would be the one to get into console gaming.
Typical Governor Sandwich.
No, what's he called? Tell me. Colonel something.
Colonel,
Yep.
Colonel Sanders.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so boring. Governor Sandwich is better. I like
Governor
that more.
Sandwich.
Governor Sandwich is better. I would agree with that.
That is a much. Well, we'll start a fast food chain with our new mascot, Governor Sandwich.
Governor Sandwich.
We're not political.
We're not political, but if you swing our way, free refills